channel. My name is Lizzie, and today I figured I would do a get ready with me again, but I'm going to use the new Anastasia Beverly Hills palette that she collaborated with Carli Bybel. So it's super stunning palette. I just could not wait to get my hands on it. So I had it shipped when it was available, I think on Dillard's, and I can't believe we actually have a Dillard's here in Lake Havasu. So I had to get free shipping. I had it delivered to the store. So I just went over there and picked it up last week. And it is just a beautiful palette. It kind of reminds me of the Natasha Denona Coral palette, the little 5-pan that she made. So some of those shades, are kind of reminiscent of that one, I think. But it's just still stunning. I unfortunately do not know too much about Carli Bybel. I watched like one YouTube video of hers recently just to kind of see who she is, what she does. So I'm not too familiar with her, unfortunately, but I just thought the shades in it were stunning and that it would be a very popular palette, I'm sure, since she collaborated with Anastasia for this. So I just figured it would be a nice palette to pick up and that you guys would be interested, hopefully, to see what it's like, and I'll do some swatches and do an eye look with the palette. So yeah, I just figured that would be good, and I decided to also combine this video with the Boujee makeup guru tag video that a lot of YouTubers were doing recently. Since instead of just hearing me ramble on, I figured I at least can focus on some questions to answer while I'm doing my makeup and do that as well in this video. So today I am going to actually finally use the I Heart Revolution Peach Delight mattifying primer. I forgot to use that in my last video, so I'm going to prime my face. I don't smell anything. Let's see. It smells faintly of peaches, but I don't really get too much peach scent, like overly peach like the Too Faced stuff. So it is a clear primer here, kind of very, oh, it is very silicone feel, like very thick. So that's probably how it does its mattifying effects. Excuse my hair, I'm just kind of put it up, half down to get it out of my face. And excuse the blemishes that are healing on my face here. So I am going to use some foundation today, a new foundation for me. So to see how that works on top of this primer. That is Pippo down at my feet, making a bunch of noise. Okay, so that was kind of a thicker kind of silicone feel primer there. So, okay, we have that laid out. Now, this isn't new by any means to everybody, but it's new for me. I got it in a Sephora Play, I believe, a while ago. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Contour Foundation, and it's in the shade Banana. So it's a stick foundation. It's just a little bit that they give you, so I figured might as well try it and see. The shade is pretty good. Maybe a little bit light, a little bit yellow. Just kind of paint it on there. Yeah, let's just try it. And I have foundation brush to kind of blend it over. So anyway, this, yeah, Boujee makeup tag, I figured was a good tag video for me to do because as a makeup lover, I don't really have a specific niche that I really tend to stick to. Like, you have the YouTubers like Michelle Wong that does like more luxury high-end brands. You have YouTubers that do more indie brands and ones that kind of do more drugstore affordable makeup, and then some that are kind of just like in the middle of the road there. And for me, I like everything. I want to try everything. I have no real qualms about whether it's high-end or drugstore. This isn't really blending too well with this brush. Like, I like Chanel, I like Dior, I like Tom Ford, but I also like Too Faced, Tarte, NARS, Anastasia, like the middle kind of brands, and then like drugstore like the I Heart Revolution, ColourPop, Wet n Wild, Morphe, some Morphe. I don't really go for their big palettes. So yeah, all of that. Can't really tell, is it really kind of blended here? I think I could use a little bit more. So yeah, I just figured, you know, am I really bougie or am I not? So the first question here, I watched Karen Harris's makeup video with this tag, so that's what gave me the idea to do this as well, and some other videos I watched too that YouTubers that did this. So the first question here is, would I rather buy one luxury item or a bunch of items for the same amount? So that's difficult. I mean, sometimes when I look at a luxury item that's like, you know, $60, $70 for one item, I think like, oh, I could get this, this, and this though for that same amount. But then part of me is also like, yeah, but for those products, do I really want those products more than this one luxury item that I have my eye on, or and feel just as satisfied? And probably not. So that's why I probably would rather buy that, you know, one luxury item for that price tag rather than a bunch of items, because I feel like, you know, you get a bunch of items and it's like, oh wow, look at all this makeup I got, but then my mind would still be on that one luxury item. Like, I still want that one item. I'll probably still go get it. So it's like just spending double the amount anyway, and I wouldn't be as satisfied with the 3 or 4 items I got, instead knowing I still wanted that one item that was the higher end brand. So yeah, I probably would rather just buy that one luxury price tag item over a bunch of other items. So that's the foundation. It doesn't feel cakey or anything, and it has kind of like, maybe I just blended it out a little bit more of a natural coverage, so not too full coverage there. So we'll see how that goes. Bronzer, I was just going to use the Hourglass Ghost Edit bronzer here. It's a little bit lighter, but I figured I haven't used that shade, and I wasn't sure if I would use it as a bronzer or kind of a natural blush, but yeah, it works as a bronzer, so that's nice. The next question is, do you believe you get what you pay for when you buy either a luxury item or a more cost-effective item? So I don't really believe that. I think you know, you could buy a less expensive item like a ColourPop palette, and you totally, I think, get more than what you actually paid for. I think especially with ColourPop, you could spend $16 on one of their eyeshadow palettes and it would be just as good quality as spending like $49 on a Too Faced palette, Tarte palette, anything like that. So I think that's not necessarily true. You don't get what you pay for in all situations, because you could find more affordable products that are just as comparable to luxury items, in my opinion. So no, I don't believe that's necessarily always true. And I think that goes for just the opposite, where you could be spending, you know, $80 on a Chanel palette, and I don't think it's as pigmented or as nice as, say, you know, a ColourPop palette or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think you get what you pay for necessarily all the time with some products. It just depends on how you like it and how it works for you and your skin type and everything. So no, I don't believe that is always true. What is the most expensive beauty item I purchased? It's hard. the most expensive skincare item I've ever purchased is that Amora Visa Deep Cleansing Balm mask. So that was in a set, but individually it's also sold for like I think $120. So that was the most expensive skincare item I've ever bought. The most expensive makeup item, I mean, there's the Pat McGrath Pet Mothership palettes. Those are like what, $125. I do admit that some very limited edition, you can't find them anymore, like Chanel highlighters or Dior palettes. I have purchased off eBay or from a friend over in Europe that was selling some of her collection, and those were like, yeah, between like 125, 150 that I would buy just to, get my hands on that hard to find rare gem to keep in my Untouchables collection. So I have spent that. I've bought the Chikuhudo holiday brushes, I think from a couple years ago, the one with the red handles and the cherry blossoms all over it. I bought that face brush set, I believe that was like 200 something. So there's definitely some expensive pieces in my makeup collection that I just can't bring myself to use or touch. And I know that seems crazy, but I just believe that, there are makeup pieces that are pieces of art, and you can't bear to, ruin them. And I just love admiring them and keeping them in my collection for now. And so that's just my my little obsession, I guess, addiction. That's just my vice. I just like having them to admire and stare at and not use. So yes, I do have a few pieces that do add up, and for my most expensive beauty item I've ever purchased. Do I tend to buy full price or wait for a sale or discount? So before, I used to just buy, afraid that it would sell out. I would not be able to get my hands on it anymore. Oh, here's the Carli Bybel palette. I like the packaging, these little shiny bubble discs things on there. And inside of the palette, in case you haven't seen it yet, but look at all those pretty shimmers. Doesn't it remind you of the Natasha Denona? Let me see here. The coral palette. Yes, definitely. Look at that. Pretty similar. But yeah, have to get it. Maybe I should do some swatches of all of them first. Let's see, I'm not very good at swatches. I apologize. I'm trying to get better. I watch Tara Babies do swatches of all her makeup hauls and new stuff that she gets, and she has it down. She knows how to do these swatches. Lots of practice, I guess. And she does them where she doesn't like really run out of room on her arm. So those are the first four. You can kind of see that champagne one. So that was Boujee, Bybel, Mandala, and Libra. Let's do the next four. Ooh, that one's very pigmented. Ooh, that feels like a pressed glitter. Ooh, that one's very creamy. So these are the next four. Jode, this one's OA, O-A, kind of similar. That one's a matte brown and Boy, B-O-I-E. This is a very creamy shade called Bear. Next for Moo. Chai. Cindy. Stev, S-T-E-V. And then two more. I already ran out of room, so we'll just do them over here. That is Aura. Ooh, My Angels. That one's a little flaky, but very pretty. So there's all the swatches of the Anastasia Carli Bybel palette. Very pretty. I love those shimmers. So I really want to use some of these purpley cool tone shimmers in my eye look, so it doesn't really go with my outfit, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. That's just what I want to use. I think I'll go in just with the matte cream shade first in Bear. It's a cute name. I'm sorry. I didn't even use eye primer, but that's okay. What question was I on? Oh, would I buy full price or wait for a sale? So yes, I used to just buy, as soon as the item came out, I just wanted it. I just would pay for it, and because I was always like in that FOMO stage, like I'm going to miss out on it. I'm going to regret not buying it. It's going to sell out, blah, blah, blah. So I would just always buy everything before at full price. And then as I was getting more advanced in the makeup game, I realized, oh, there's certain sales that will happen every year, like the Sephora sales, when those are going to be happening. Ulta, when I started getting to Ulta, I was like, oh my God, they always have sales and discounts and everything. And now even like the higher end department stores, Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's, Saks, they'll usually have a sale or like a gift with purchase or something at some point, like a gift card deal where you get a either percentage off, or if you spend so much money, you'll get a gift card or something. So I realized most of the items you really don't need to buy full price. You can wait till they eventually go on sale, and eventually there will be a sale at one of these retailers. So it's not like you're going to have to wait a super long time or anything. And usually the item will still be available. But I do say that there's definitely some items that you shouldn't sit on and wait for a sale, because then you might miss out. Like most recently, the MAC and the Pony Park collection. I really wanted that collection, but when I saw the prices for the highlighters at $38.50, I was like, forget it. I'm not going to spend that on the highlighters. They're eventually going to be discounted, because MAC items usually eventually get discounted and are on sale all the time. Well, that was not the case with this collection. You don't know. You just don't know really. But yeah, the eyeshadow palette sold out super fast. I managed to get my hands on that from Nordstrom. But I was still like thinking the highlighters were going to be okay. But no, they sold out, and I didn't manage to buy those before they sold out. So I was really bummed that I waited. I did manage to find, well, my friend Susie told me that they were on Harrods, so I did manage to get the gold one from Harrods. But it's like, yeah, you don't know what release is going to be a huge hit and sell out. Like I think some of the Chanel holiday pieces, those sell out usually pretty quickly. So I can't wait to like get my hands on that. So it's just kind of what you think is going to be super popular and hard to get. Maybe you shouldn't wait for a sale if you really, really want that item. And I always feel like if it eventually does go on sale and still available, then save your receipt, return it, or see if they'll do a price adjustment or something like that. So that's Bare all over the eye. And but if I can wait for a sale, I have been better at where if there are items that I could wait for, I will wait and buy them when there's a sale going on. But for a lot of YouTubers, people want to see the newest and the latest, so the YouTubers will go ahead and buy the item right away, sale or no sale, just so they could do the video and do a review on it, which I'm not like one of those YouTubers just yet. I can't do all that, but I'll get the items when I could, like this Carli Bybel palette I got right away, just because I thought it was stunning and beautiful, and didn't know really when it was coming out to Sephora and Ulta, if anything. And now that it is out, I could have gotten it during the Friends and Family Sephora sale. I could wait for the next Ulta sale. I could use my Ulta points on it. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. But I'm happy I have it. I would have, I could spend the money on something else anyway. So I'm not gonna dwell too much on it. where do I shop for beauty products the most? Definitely, probably Sephora. I, shop there quite a lot. I'm going to use the shade Bybel now. It's very powdery. It's a very, so it's the shade Bybel. It's just like a dusty rose, cool tone, pink brown color. That bare color has kind of like a soft shimmer to it almost once you apply it on the eyes, even though it's very matte looking in the pan. It does, maybe it's my eyes just being oily, I don't know, but it seems to have a sheen to it. So yeah, I do think I do shop from Sephora the most just because they have kind of the largest selection and variety and get new releases pretty quickly. But I love the Ulta system, point system better. So if there's a brand or a product that's sold at Ulta, I'll wait and get it from Ulta or use points on it from Ulta. So whatever brands or products I can get from Ulta instead of Sephora, I'll do that. But yeah, for the most part, probably Sephora. And I still shop at like the department stores like Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's. Not so much Nordstrom's anymore because they're not on Ebates or what is now called Rakuten. So unfortunately, they used to be on there and you could get like some really good cash back deals with them. But then they stopped after like a year after I signed up for Ebates. So that was kind of annoying. So I try not to shop there too much because usually whatever is on Nordstrom's, you can find at Bloomingdale's, Saks, Neiman's, all of those higher department stores that are on Rakuten. And so now I could get cash back from shopping there. So like they have, some brands that just aren't at Sephora or Ulta. So that's why I'll shop from them too instead. More of the luxury brands, I guess. Like La Prairie, Sicily, Chanel, some of the Dior stuff that isn't on Sephora. Not like I'm buying Sicily products left and right or anything. That is quite expensive. Okay, so that is Bybel all over the eye, outer corner. And next question is, how often do I get my nails and hair done? Well, as you can see, my nails are never painted, never done in any of my videos because I never get them done. I think in college and maybe like a little bit, I would sometimes treat myself and go get my nails done. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love getting a manicure. I think it's a nice little luxury to have, a nice little pamper yourself type of thing. But since I started getting into makeup, I was actually more disinclined to go get my nails done because I was just like, that's $40, $50 I could buy some makeup product with instead. So part of me was just like, yeah, I'll just paint my nails myself, which I never do, and forego that little extra treat. And I'd rather buy a palette, a eyeshadow, a blush, something else instead. So I don't get my nails done. I don't get my hair done. That's also like, I keep my hair very basic, very long, and just, don't style it or dye it or anything. So part of me is just like, why would I pay somebody to trim my hair every 8 weeks or so for, $40 when I could just buy something instead with that money. So yeah, I never get my hair done. Maybe once a year. Once a year when it's really damaged and just dry at the ends and very split ends and all that, I'll get it trimmed professionally. Once a year, possibly, if that. I try to cut my hair myself sometimes, so sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I cut my own bangs usually, so yeah, I just rather spend that money on makeup. So no, I never ever treat myself to hair or nails because that is money going to a new makeup item. I know. Yeah. Do I have long or short nails? So as I just said, I don't get my nails done. If I do get them done, I do like the gel tips and, the kind of medium length that they have. Just think it makes it look very nice and put together, but I don't get them done. So if my nails do grow out a little bit, it's okay. But then I just hate when they do break or get too long, because then they get dirty and just gross, since I don't paint them. So I just prefer short nails. Yeah, I just think it's more manageable and cleaner, and just doesn't bother me as much when I have short nails. What makeup brush brand is my favorite? So wait, I want to go into the shade Boy, which is this kind of very powdery matte cool tone brown shade there. What makeup brush brand is my favorite? I love luxury makeup brushes, but because they're so luxury and expensive, I'm afraid to use them. Yeah, I know. That's crazy, right? So I have a bunch of Sonia G brushes that I just think are beautiful, and I spent the money on them, but I don't want to use them. I don't want to dirty them. I don't want to wash them, because then I feel like it's going to ruin the hair and the ferrule, and it's just going to not look as nice. So I keep them in a little display on my shelf, unused. I know it's ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous to me too, just saying it. I always think, well, maybe one day I will just use it. I'll just like bring myself to go ahead and dirty them, but right now I just can't do it. Nope. So I just have them for my collection. I do love Wayne Goss eye brushes. I bought his eye brush collection set from Beautylish, I think a year or two ago. It took me a while to finally use them. I was like, oh, I don't want to ruin these. I don't want to dirty them. But finally, I was like, no, you have them. Just use them. And I love his eye brushes. They are really nice quality. I do think that when you wash them, they still kind of keep their shape and aren't like all frayed or anything like that. And then just like, but I also use just like basic kind of everyday brushes that I don't spend a lot of money on. Like the Morphe brushes are great. Sigma brushes. I love the Sephora collection brushes. I think those are really nice face brushes. So, yeah, the ones I use are Wayne Goss. I like the Morphe ones and stuff. So I just try to keep it to those. And maybe eventually I'll use my Chikuhudo and Sonia G brushes eventually. Do I prefer high-end or drugstore mascara? So I was never one to think that like, yeah, go ahead and buy that luxury mascara for like $40, $50. No, I don't think, like, I don't have lashes really anyway. That shade Boy, again, the brown shade, and put it on the lower lash line here. But yeah, I don't think that buying a $40, $50 mascara really makes a difference at all for my itty bitty lashes anyway. And I think mascara is the one item where I'm like, you could just buy a drugstore mascara and get the same effect for way cheaper. So part of me very recently, I actually bought full-size mascaras. I bought the It Cosmetics Dry Bar mascara, superhero mascara that they did because of the packaging. So I actually bought that full price. And I bought the Lancome Monsieur Big mascara full size, but that was half off during the 21 days of Ulta beauty sale. So those are the two kind of high-end mascaras that I actually bought myself. You get mascaras all the time anyway as like gifts with purchase, so like that's how I've tried other higher end mascaras, like the Benefit, Marc Jacobs, Chanel, Charlotte Tilbury. So that's how I usually just try my higher end mascaras. But if I was to buy any, I wouldn't buy those full price. I would buy CoverGirl, Maybelline, something drugstore that probably does the exact same effect to my lashes that those do. So no, I would not say buying the higher end luxury mascara is really worth it over drugstore. My favorite makeup brand, drugstore, high-end, luxury, or indie. That is super tough. I'm going to use the shade Libra now, which is this shimmery kind of taupe shade here. And put that all over the eyelid. I really don't have a favorite makeup brand that I could just name off the top of my head. Because like I said earlier, I just kind of like a lot of makeup brands. I like Too Faced, I like Tarte, I like Anastasia, I like Becca, I like Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, Huda Beauty. I like indie brands like Give Me Glow Cosmetics, Sydney Grace. So it's really hard to say what is my favorite makeup brand. I want to try everything. I want to see what works, what has nice quality. I probably lean a little bit more towards I probably have more of the higher end luxury makeup brands than say drugstore ones or indie brands. I'm starting to really get more into the indie brands, but I don't have too many in my collection. So I would say more of the middle ground and higher end brands I have in my collection, but there's not one that I can specifically say is my all-time favorite brand that I would just buy no matter what they release. Like I really like Natasha Denona, but I'm not going to buy every single thing that she comes out with. Like there's definitely a few things I've said no to and will not purchase. Same with Pat McGrath, same with Chanel and Dior and everything. So it's not like I buy every single thing that comes out from that brand. And the last question is, do I think I'm bougie? You know, it's really hard. Because I think some things I'm not really bougie about, and then maybe a couple things I am, but I would say no. I don't feel like I am bougie. I feel like the most bougie thing about my collection is my Untouchables drawer, is just all the pieces that I feel like have pretty packaging or pretty imprint designs or were limited edition that I cannot bring myself to touch or use, or like the makeup brushes I can't bring myself to use. So maybe that part of my collection is bougie, but I think for the most part I'm not. I think for the most part I'm just a hoarder, a collector, lover of makeup, and I would just want to like try a lot of stuff that comes out or new items that are released. I just want to get and use. But for the most part, I don't think like I'm high maintenance. I don't like have to go get my hair done every month or get my nails done every week or you know, make sure I'm so perfect and polished every day of the week or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think I am bougie. So I think that was a surprise even for myself. Let me know if you think otherwise, but I don't think I am. So I'm pretty proud of myself. And I finished all the questions, but didn't finish everything on my eye look. So let's keep going with this makeup look. And I'm putting this, ooh, that's really pretty. The purple shimmery iridescent shade, Mandala, this one here, on the inner corner of my eye. So this palette, like any of the other Anastasia palettes, is very soft and powdery. So you really just need a very light hand, which I don't think I was doing too much with very well. But I think it's a really pretty palette overall. So I feel like if you're a fan of Carli Bybel, if you're a fan of Anastasia, then yeah, go ahead and get this palette. I think it's really pretty. I think it does, you know, suit well for fall. It's kind of more cooler tones with a few warm tones thrown in, like the red and the orange here, but I think you could really just make it a fall look with those. But everything else seems very kind of cool toned and neutral with some nice beautiful shimmers. And I really am enjoying this palette, and it's fun basic eye look kind of I created today. So that was my eye look. quickly finish the rest of my makeup look, I'm going to use the ColourPop highlighter stick in Star Bright. So this one I'm actually going to just kind of use my finger. So aside from the Boujee makeup tag, I recently watched the movie El Camino, which just came out on Netflix. It's a follow-up to Breaking Bad series. I don't know if any of you watched the Breaking Bad series, but Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul, the actor, it follows his story and continues where it left off at the end of Breaking Bad and what happens to him. So that was a good movie. I recommend that if you're a Breaking Bad fan. This is a pretty champagne highlight. And so I recently watched that. I heard the Netflix series Unbelievable might be good to watch. A coworker kind of recommended that. This is the Nude Sticks cream blush in Naughty and Spice, so it's kind of like a muted rose shade. So I'll just kind of dot that all over. And it has a brush at the end, which I like, so you can just kind of blend it in with that. So do any of you recommend that show? I might start that soon. I've been watching the Jersey Shore Vacation, or whatever they're calling it right now, while Mike the Situation is in jail, unfortunately, but I think he's out now or is going to be out soon. But when this was filmed, he was in jail still. And the most recent episode, JWoww introduced her new boyfriend, who's like 10 years younger than her. So they all call him 24 because that's his age. And I just recently watched the latest episode where he was kind of being all touchy-feely with Angelina. And in the next episode, JWoww and Snooki like go off on Angelina, which I'm not the biggest Angelina fan, but the fact that like, I know she's just taking her man's side and doesn't want to believe that he would be gropey and kind of a creep on somebody, especially Angelina, who she doesn't like. Doesn't want to believe that, but it's like, it's all on camera. Like, hello, when you go back and watch the show, you can obviously see him being the one touching her and having contact with her. And that's just, I feel like, wrong. I do feel like Angelina should have said something, or like just been like, hey, I'm not comfortable with that, get off me. But I just think that was kind of dramatic, of course. So I've been watching that. Watching Survivor, watching How to Get Away with Murder came back on, but I haven't caught up on that yet. I do have to catch up on those. Just using the Becca Hydra Mist setting powder because, like I said, I'm trying to use this baby up before the end of the year. Hopefully I can. Anyway, I'm a huge TV junkie, so anything you can recommend, please do. I love to watch anything. Setting spray, I'll just use my Mario Badescu facial spray. So I didn't do my brows, I didn't do my mascara. Oh, lips though, I will use Ellis Foss. This isn't a very well-known brand. It's on Beautylish, and I think it's being sold at like Saks maybe, or Neiman's. But I bought this a long time ago, and it's just, I love this lip formula. It has this little cushion at the end, and it just feels so good on your lips. And it's not like completely matte or too sticky or anything like that. It's just like a really nice kind of stain that it leaves. I just kind of apply that haphazardly so it looks kind of crazy. So yeah, that's my little makeup look for the day. And the Carli Bybel palette I think is really beautiful and stunning, so I do recommend that. And thank you guys so much for joining me and hearing my bougie questions. And yeah, like I said, I'm surprised I don't think I'm bougie, so that's great. I think, and it's okay if you are, because there's definitely some bougie qualities I have, but I don't think overall I'm a bougie makeup person. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys, thanks.